So the Royal Rumble is just around the corner, and that makes me warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum because I love the Royal Rumble. It is my favourite premium live event. So if you are watching this WWE, don't flub it up. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to be a sad panda. You also have to reckon that given that we are on the road to WrestleMania, that we may be pulling some shocks out of our ass, which sounds absolutely terrible. Hello, my name is Simon from What Culture, and you've already figured it out, and you've already seen the title. That's why you clicked the thing. This is 10 shocks WWE could pull at the Royal Rumble. Out their ass. Number 10, Uncle Howdy helps Alexa Bliss win gold. Now, we talked about this on a recent episode of Raw Ups and Downs, but actually there's a lot more to this than a bald guy just going, this is what I think because I watch wrestling a lot. Because if you do go back in time using your DeLorean, when we had all those early Uncle Howdy videos, do you remember what one of the clues read, or when you deciphered it, what it came out with? It had the name Bianca Belair. And who is Bianca Belair? The Raw Women's Champion. I also just think, given that we are doing Alexa Bliss versus Bianca at the Raw Rumble, if Bliss doesn't win, what is the point of any of this? Because she's about to go spooky wookie, she clearly has some kind of relationship with Bray Wyatt and the uncle, so if that doesn't lead her to glory, what an absolute waste of time. And I know, nobody actually thinks this is going to go down, but that's why it would be good, because it would spark this new revolution, or this new group, and I actually wouldn't mind it at all. Because it also means you can take the belt off Bianca without her losing clean, and then just keep pushing her to be a massive star because I think she's done great. I don't think Bliss would actually hold this until WrestleMania. I think it would just be a way to get the whole Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt thing going, but that's okay. WWE has shown great patience with that. So let's have a little bit of fun. Number 9, LA Knight gets a massive victory. This actually ties into number 10, and it ties into WrestleMania, because I have decided, being the very smart person that I am, when we get to the show of shows, it may actually be Uncle Howdy taking on Bray Wyatt. And who saw that coming? But given that Howdy did slam Bray with his sister Abigail a few weeks ago, when we get to this pitch black match, by the way, it's like a week before the Royal Rumble as I am recording this, and we still have no idea what the stipulation of that thing is. I actually think LA Knight could walk in there and he gets the win. Again, the problem is I don't know how you do get the win in a pitch black match, but hey ho, who cares? Now look, I get it. All of a sudden you're shouting at me, Simon, the reason Bray Wyatt has never worked before is because he did lose all the time. But yeah, but that was always part of some nonsense. If this is a long-term story and we actually know where we're going and we've written the conclusion, then once again, you can just run around in your pants and have a good time. I also think it would do wonders for Knight's career because nobody's expecting that, and Bray Wyatt is such a big star. So now I thought about it, I quite like this idea. Let's do it. Number 8, WWE splits up the unified tag team titles. I actually don't want this to happen, because for the last few months I've been going, well, if Sami Zayn doesn't beat Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens doesn't beat Roman Reigns, the best plan B, and it's a wonderful plan B, is that Sam and Kevin get back together and they beat the Usos for the WWE Unified Tag Team titles. And this could still happen, but recently on both Monday nights and Friday nights, everyone has been going, we now have number 1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles, and we have number 1 contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And we all kind of put our hands up like, wait a minute, we haven't done that for ages, what changed? So suppose we could do something at the Raw Rumble once again leading into WrestleMania, because as we do have 2 nights, maybe we do want to have a Raw Tag Team title match and a SmackDown Tag Team title match. But I'm just going to tell you this, come in close and don't say anything. Given that the brand split doesn't really exist anymore, we don't actually need separate champions, but shh, don't tell anyone. To tie into that though, number 7, Sami Zayn is responsible. That is right. If we are not going to get to the point where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens take down Jimmy and Jey Uso, why don't we just go the other way and kind of use the tag team titles as a little bit of a prop? But the reason the Usos lose one of their pair is because Sami Zayn goes and makes a big mistake. I mean, if this did happen at the start of the Royal Rumble, and then you get to the Royal Rumble itself, and then Jey Uso, for example, is in that thing, and he sees Sami Zayn, so he eliminates Zayn because he's so mad about what happens earlier, all of a sudden the bloodline is going to be all wibbly-wobbly, and I'm going to be going nuts, going to be like, oh my gosh, it's falling apart. The more I think about that, the more I kind of like it, because basically it means Zayn flubs up, and the House of Cards falls to the floor. It also ties into the Elimination Chamber, which is in Montreal, and surely there you do want to do Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the WWE Unified title. So again, I started off arguing with myself, and I think about it, I'm like, man, that's just delightful, put another tick in the box. Number 6, Kevin Owens does the unthinkable. So we continue on with the bloodline, and if we are going to do this one, we better hit fast forward because we're running out of time. But maybe, just maybe, Kevin Owens does take on Roman Reigns, and due to some stipulation we don't know yet, he walks away with one piece of the gold. Because I do not believe that Roman Reigns is going to get to WrestleMania without at least one of these championships, but maybe we do give the Raw version to Kev, who can then defend it on night 1 at WrestleMania. I mean, once again, I think if that was the plan, you probably should have started shouting about this a few weeks ago, because what the hell is going on? But maybe you do something in the middle of the match, or maybe you come up with some crazy idea, and that would get people talking on social media. Don't forget, WWE absolutely loves that. This one I do think is a little bit of a long shot, and when I search my feelings like a Jedi, it does come up with a negative. But we should probably do it because during this period, you just want people making as much noise as possible, because then when you do get to the granddaddy of them all, more people tune in. Also helps with that whole Roman Reigns has to fight on 2 nights nonsense, which would mean The Rock wouldn't even be bothered with any of that. And while we don't know about the future of Dwayne Johnson, if he does gonna return, well, we're gonna know about it soon. Number 5, anyone but Rhea Ripley wins. Because Rhea Ripley should win. I mean, we just tied right into her character right now because she does come across like the end of level boss. And even when I get into other names who I would be happy to be victorious, I then just double back round and go, yeah, but they ain't Rhea Ripley. And sure, a Becky Lynch could always be in this spot, or someone like a Bayley, or you just do a random surprise and Candice LeRae wins. But when we get to WrestleMania, we're talking about that event again, I think Rhea should be winning a kind of a championship. So whether she takes on Charlotte Flair or whether she takes on whoever the Raw champion is, that's where we should be doing it. So if we do have these grand plans, let's not overthink it. She wins the Royal Rumble, she beats a bunch of people up, she becomes the champ, and everyone is happy. Especially Dominic. If I was going to choose 2, I would have her take on the Queen, because don't forget, every time they feuded before, Charlotte would always win. Well, now we got to change that, because it's Rhea Ripley's time. Number 4, Solo Sikoa breaks the elimination record. So currently, Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar both hold this record with 13 eliminations in one Royal Rumble match. And then of course, the next one down is Roman Reigns at 12. We've always got to involve the tribal chief. And while most people are going, well, I think Gunther should get to these numbers this year, which he totally should do, given how good Solo Sikoa was in 2022, and given how effortlessly he transitioned into the main roster, and given the fact that the Bloodline are probably going to break up soon, I think we should light a fire under his ass, and he should throw out everybody. Maybe he even gets to 23. Of course, I'm exaggerating there, and even if he got to 15, you'd have to go, well, how did that happen? Because that's half of the field. But if he's not going to win, and once again tying into the Rhea Ripley stuff, you want to turn him into a star, let's just do something crazy. Even if you don't like it, don't worry about it, you'll forget about it before tomorrow. So basically, I'm just a massive fan of Sikoa, and eventually he will be out there by himself. And if you could have the commentators going, well, he holds the record for the most Royal Rumble eliminations, as we've seen before, that is really gonna help. Number 3, Stone Cold Steve Austin is a Royal Rumble surprise. I don't think this one is gonna happen. I think The Rock is probably more likely, although it also sounds like that's not going to go down. But am I a dreamer? Yes, I am. And I want to see the rattlesnake at the Rumble. Mostly because if he is announced for WrestleMania, we'll know all this and we'll still go crazy for that glass break. But when you're not prepared for it and you hear that sound effect, it's like some kind of disease, everyone just goes crazy. It would also tie into what he's going to do at WrestleMania, because if he's involved in one of these pay-per-views, he's going to be involved in the other one. And let's not forget, last year, Steve Austin was like, oh my gosh, I had such a good time. So maybe he's looked at his calendar and gone, you know how I can double that? By doing 2 shows. It's also the Royal Rumble where you are protected like no other match, because he can just get in there, give some people some stunners, throw a couple of people over the top rope before whoever he is feuding with, he screws him over, and then we're off to the races. Don't pretend you don't want it. Now you can feel it too. Number 2, The Rock does return, but doesn't win. Now we just go it bonkers. And the only reason I can see us doing this is because Dwayne Johnson does decide he wants to win the Royal Rumble so he can challenge Roman Reigns for the Unified Championship. When the head of the table realizes this, sends his goons out there, they eliminate The Rock, which is also a way that somebody else can win the Royal Rumble to go after another championship, whereas we still do The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Excuse me, I need to sit down. I mean, that certainly is one way to do it, but I do have one big reservation. I just don't think Mr. Johnson is going to go for it. I mean, he is such a big star, he is such a big Hollywood guy, that apparently some of his contracts even say Mr. Johnson cannot be shown to be in a position of weakness for more than 25 minutes. So So if you tell him he's not going to win the Rumble, he's probably going to go, yes I am. Either way though, my favourite thing about that match is the surprise pops. I don't even care. Bring back The Rock, bring back Steve Austin, bring back Raven, bring back, I don't know, Val Venus. Don't bring him back. He's gone totally crazy. But just give me that kind of adrenaline and I'll be fine. Number one, Cody Rhodes pulls it off. I, for one, do not think this is a shock. And over the last few weeks, I've been going up to people in the street and saying, oh, hello there. Cody Rhodes should be in the Royal Rumble and he should win the thing. And we're halfway there like Bon Jovi because he has declared, but everybody else is still up in arms about this. And I really don't understand why. When you look at everybody that could potentially enter the Royal Rumble, who else should win? To me, Cody Rhodes ticks every single box. He should be the guy to get the victory, and he should be the guy, taking The Rock out of the equation, that should go to WrestleMania and beat the Tribal Chief to win at least one of the championships. You could come in here right now and argue with me, and it ain't gonna work. I already believe this. I still say it would be a shock to a certain degree, because don't forget Cody's journey. He left in 2016 because WWE didn't see him as a bigger star, or at least the star he saw himself as. He started AEW, he smashed the indies, and then he comes back and he lives his dream. Did you feel that? Yes, you did. It's called inspiration. So no matter what else does happen in the Royal Rumble, I think this one has to go down, otherwise it's a huge missed opportunity. That's another reason I'm excited to tune in. What the flubber WWE gonna do? Now please do leave a comment below and let me know about any other shocks you think are gonna happen at the Royal Rumble and make them fun. Let's go nuts, people. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatcoach.com where we will keep you up to date with all the Royal Rumble news, as we shall do on social media at Simon316 and WhatCulture WWE. And if you want to check out some videos, that video will look you in the eye and say, thank you. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for joining me as always. Enjoy this time of year because it's the best for wrestling. I'll see you soon.